Hello everybody, hope you all are doing amazing. All right, so today I just quickly want to run you through the fluid balance chart, and this is the chart you will be given in your OSCE exam. And then alongside they will give you a question scenario, and then which will have the volumes of fluids that the patient must have taken, and the outputs, the losses that the patient must have lost through urine, vomitors, or anything like that. They will put it in a question scenario, and you are expected in your exam, your UK Next and the OSCE exam, to transfer all those volumes you're seeing in the question scenario onto your fluid balance chart. So your fluid balance chart is an 8-minute, it's a 12-minute procedure, and it's a silent station. So it's just you with the paper, the question paper, and then the question scenario by a desk, and then you will just be doing it. It's not like the other skills where you have to verbalize anything. It's just more silent and just written. Just put in your values, get your score, and go your way. All right. So this station is one station that you can easily pass because it's not very difficult. However, it can be very tricky, and so I want to quickly walk you through some of the things that has to do with fluid balance in your OSCE exam. All right, so very quickly, I've always said that whenever you have any paper or anything like that in your OSCE exam, start from the top and work your way down, because you don't want to, by anxiety, just or fear or whatever it is, just start transferring and forget to do the demographics and things like that. So start from the top and then work your way down. All right, so quickly, let me run you through the things you need to pay attention to in fluid balance in your OSCE exam. All right. So walking you through the question paper, the fluid balance paper, you realize that this is where the time is, and then this whole stretch is your input, and this whole stretch is your output. All right. So based on the question scenario, they will segregate it, like they will separate it for you to know the input and then the output of the patient. So whatever you are seeing in the input section in the question paper, you are going to successfully and accurately transfer those values or the volumes onto the fluid balance chart, and then vice versa for the what you call it, the output as well. All right, so let me run you through this quickly. Like I mentioned, it can be difficult, it's very easy but a little tricky, so just follow keenly, and then in the comment section, if you don't understand anything, just let me know and I will clarify for you. All right, good. Now I've put them into rules just to guide the tutorial so that I don't miss out on anything. All right, so I said rule number 1, note that your time starts from 8:00. And let me say this, if you are not in the UK and you are used to the other timing system, let me put it this way. All I'm trying to say is that get used to this timing system where 1 p.m. is 1300, 5 p.m. is 1700, in that order. This is how the fluid balance is, the timings, this is how they use it. So get used to these system of time, and it will make your work easy. All right. So 800 or 1800 is just to say it's 8 a.m. in the morning. All right. And then from, if you work your way through to what you call it, this is 2000, which is 8 p.m. in the evening, down to 000, which is 12 midnight, and then your last time on your shift will be 7:00. That means that this is the range with which you will be inputting your volumes, and this is very important because you can be tricked with these timings. All right, good. Now just to reiterate, your time starts at 800 or 800. So if there's anything in the fluid balance chart at the input side or even the output side, that is anything above, or that is anything not exactly 800, it should be with it would have been imputed by the previous shift. All right, assuming that there's something on the fluid balance chart. And mind you, if you have a fluid balance question scenario, you'll get what I mean. That sometimes the volumes they put in a question paper is sort of in order. All right. So for instance, you have let me get this. For instance, at the input side in your question scenario, it will be in order. All right. So assuming they've written something like say 0730 or something like that, or 07, let me say 0700, there was 200 mils of water, and then let's say 0800, there was say 150 mils of juice. Okay, and they can follow in that order. All right. So in your question scenario, I want you to know that the volumes they've put there is in order of time. So it's just to tell you that I've already mentioned that your time on the fluid balance chart starts from 8:00. So this 7:00 is not yours to put here. So don't be mistaken or don't be confused to find a way to put this 7:00 down here, because this is the next day 7 a.m. in the morning. Please get this. Please get this. The volumes they will give you, I'm mentioning again that in your question scenario, is in order of the time. So if this 7:00 comes before 8:00 and then whatever time they will put, subsequently, if you see anything before your 8:00, which I've told you that's where your fluid balance starts from, this 7:00, this 200 mils, you are not going to add it to your fluid balance chart because it is not yours. This would have been imputed by the previous shift, the night, those in the previous shift. They would have added this to their fluid balance, so it's not yours to add up. I hope you get this one. Beautiful. Now, let's move on. What I put here, the rule number 2, I have written that any time that is not exact should be recorded on the next time. What do I mean by that? If they give you, I hope you can see my rough paper here. Yeah. If, for instance, your question scenario mentions that maybe your patient took maybe water at 08:25. As long as this 08:25 is not exactly 8:00 or 9:00, don't put this 8:00. Let me say the patient at 8:25 took 100 mils of maybe water or something. Do not put this 100 mils at 8:00 here. That would be wrong. Anytime that is not exact, what I mean by exact is if the time is not 0800, 0900, 10:00, 11:00, in that order, if it's not exact, move that volume to the next time. So if it is 8:25 and the patient took 100 mils of water, where will you put the 100 mils? At 9:00. Because it is not exactly 8:00 where you can put this 100 mils here. So because it's, even if it is 0801, it's literally more than 0800. Put it in the next time. And it follows for every other thing. Assuming there's something here, the patient took some juice around say 14:52. That juice, let's say you took 50 mils of juice at 14:52. Because it's not exactly 1400 or 1400, that 50 mils of juice, where will I put it? I'll put it on 1500. Put that volume in 1500. Please get this rule down in your memory because they can easily trick you with that. I hope you understand it. Now, rule number 3 says 2 volumes at the same time, put them in the same box. All right. So now let me illustrate that here. So if there's two volumes at the same time, assuming that they says maybe Roger took 100 mils of water at 0825, like I've written here. At the same time, around that same 825, he took 50 mils of juice around that same time. What you do is that this 825, I already mentioned that you put this 100 mils where at 9:00. And the same time, the patient took 50 mils of juice. So you are going to put it in the same box, but put a slash. So let me illustrate that. So this is how it's going to be. I'll put it at 9:00. That would be 100 slash 50. This is to say that at this time, the patient took 100 mils of water and 50 mils of juice. If you have two volumes colliding at the same time, put those two volumes in the same box with a slash in between. Please, I hope you understand this part of it. Beautiful. Now, I says that rule number 4, with the IV side, this area, this is your oral and this is your parenteral. So this is where your IVs are going to be. You're going to input your IVs, okay? So for the IVs, usually they will say, this is how the question scenario comes, like, maybe say normal saline. The IV you are going to give is say normal saline, yeah? And then the volume to be given is say 1,000 mils. And it will give you start time of the IV. All right. So like I've put here, the volume is the fluid is normal saline IV. The volume to be given is 1,000 mils. The start time is 1,400 and the finish time is 2,200. All right. What you do is that to get the IV input in here, they want to know what is happening per hour. How much volume of the IV you will be giving the patient per hour. All right. So the simplest way of getting this done is that usually you just need to subtract. I hope you can see this part of it. Just subtract the finish time from the start time, and it will give you the hours with which the total volume is going to run for. So if you subtract 2,200 from 1,400, you're going to get what? 8 hours. That means that this 1,000 mils of normal saline is going to run for 8 hours. And to get your mils per hour, how much volume would the patient is going to receive per hour, you just need to divide 1,000 by 8. All right. And if you divide 1,000 by 8, what are you going to get? You're going to get do the calculation. Let me see. So 1,000 divided by 8 hours is 125 mils per hour. The patient is going to receive 125 mils of normal saline every hour. All right. So that's the simplest way of getting the IVs. Do your subtraction well, because if you don't do it well, you get a wrong total hours and you will divide wrongly and you get a wrong figure for your hourly input, and it will affect the whole thing. One serious thing about the fluid balance is if you miss out even a single figure or volume, or you make a mistake in one, it will affect the whole thing, and that's the only challenging part of it. All right, so make sure you are doing your documentations correctly. And let me just say this quickly: you will be given calculators in your OSCE exam, so you don't need to worry about how you're going to do this calculation, this division and things. They have a calculator they will give you, and even a pencil, a pen you will use on your question paper, so you don't need to worry about that. It's a calculator, and then you will just give you to help you with your calculation. Yeah. Good. So now you've done your subtraction. You know that 125 mils is going every hour. All right. Now what you do is that let's use this one. I'll give you a different assignment. Let me just use this one. Good. Now it said that the start time is what? 1,400. So for the IV, where is our 1400? This is 1400. So I would be tempted to put the first 125 mils here. But that is going to be wrong, because if I start an infusion right now at 1400, 125 mils would not have gone with at exactly that same 1400 I put it. The first 125 mils you will receive, the patient will receive, will be on the next hour, which is 1500. So my first 125 mils will be recorded at what? 1500. Please get this one too. This one, people also make mistakes because they've seen the start time as 1400. They will now go and put the first 125 at 1400 here, and that will give you a wrong score, and what do you call it, volumes. Your adapts will be different, will be wrong, and then the entire thing will be ruled out. All right, please get this rule as well. Your start time is at 1400, but the first volume the patient will receive will be on the next hour. You put it there, and then you just keep writing it until, because you know it's going for 8 hours. So you have 125, 125, 125, 125, 125, 125, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. One clue that will also make you know that you are doing the right thing: when you have you've recorded those volumes there, you will notice that your last 125 will end exactly at the end or the finish time they will give you in the question scenario. Can you see that? You see this is 2200, and that's when the patient received the last 125 mils. What is your finish time here? 2200. So usually, if you've done the wrong thing, assuming you've put this 125 here, your last 125 will end at what? 2100. That's 9 p.m. And something should click that you are making a mistake. Quickly find a way of getting this error corrected, else you will reset this paper. All right? Good. What else have I not said? All right. So, I think I'm here. Rule number 5. Output follow the same principle. Of course, the same thing I've said here, your output also follows the same principle. For instance, if it says Roger passed say 70 mils of urine at 1500. Where is 1500? This is 1500. Trace it to the urine and put your 70 mils of urine there. Please don't let fear make you be tracing, and your eyes will be going down. You're going to write something here, the 70 mils here. Please, if they even give a ruler, or however you guys call it, just so that you can trace your timing very well. Make use of it if you think your gaze is not very good. Just use the rule just to put it there, and then make sure you are pointing, you are going to record at the exact same time it says in the question, because especially when it gets to the output side, the traces is from this time, and so if you don't do it well, you may be tracing wrongly. All right, good. The same principle, I mean, if another, let's say, patient passed there was a drain or something, or the patient opened the bowel, and then maybe the volume was estimated as 150 at 1830. All right, it's the same principle applies. If 1830, where will I put that that volume? Let's assume the volume is, say, 150 mils of bowel open. That was estimated at that volume. 150 mils at 1830. Where will I put it? I'll put it at 1900 or 1900. So I'll just trace it down to bowel, and then that is where I'm going to put my 150. Please, you understand the rule applies also in the output as well. Good. Now we are moving on to the hourly total. Now you've successfully transferred all the volumes in the question paper onto your fluid balance chart. Now what you have to do is that let's assume, let me put in some values. Assume at 800, the patient took in some, maybe 50 meals, 50, and maybe at 1500, patient took maybe say 100 meals of something, all right? Can you all see this green area, which is the hour total, and there's a total input as well? What you are going to do is that the hour total means that at this 8:00 hour, what was the total of everything that happened within this area or within this time? You put that total there. From this, from what I have written here, at 8:00, it was just 50 meals that the patient had of something. So the hour total will still be what? 50. Okay? In this our case, patient took 150 hundreds of something, 100 meals of something and 50 meals of something at the same time. So the hour total will be what? What do you call it? 100 plus 50, which is what? 150. In that order. So you just follow it. Whatever you have put in here, just follow it in that order and then keep inputting your hour total. Now, when you get to somewhere like this, the hour total will be what? 100 plus what? 125 of the IV. That is what is going to give you your hour total. So what will be the volume? 125 plus 100 is what? 225. So that's the hour total for 1500. Please, I hope you understand. Okay, good. So you follow suit. So this will be 125 in that order. Just follow it. Now, when it comes to the total input, what they're expecting of you is that. So the first one is usually the first hour total here. There's nothing to be added up. So it will still be 50. Now the challenge happens with the subsequent ones. So in this case, you are going to add that for the total input, you're going to add this 150 you've written in the hour total to the total input. All right. And so now at this column, the total input is going to be what? 200. Please, I hope you understand it. The hour totals you have here, you will be adding it to the previous total input. That will be giving you the next total input to put on this column. Do you understand? So I'm saying that for here it's just 50 mils, or I'll just put the total input as 50 mils. When I go to the next one, our total was 150. You add this 150 to the 50 mils here. And then the answer you get will be put here. In that same manner, if there's something here, let's say 80 mils here, you add this 80 mils to the 200 here, and whatever you get will be put here. That will be 280. Please, I hope you understand. All right? You do the same, whatever it is here, add it in that order till you will get to the bottom. And then whatever the last volume here, assuming that this is the last, I'm just guessing. Let's assume that the last thing here is a 1500 mils. I'm just assuming that after all your add-ups, like I've showed you here, the end of the whole thing is 1500. That means that the total input for all the inputs that went to the patient for this period of time was 1500. So usually the last figure you get in this red column or this red box in the last volume you get in your last red box is the total input the patient has received. Please, I hope you understand. So in this case, I've just guessed that let's assume we've done all the totals and this is our last red box at the total input side. It means that for this patient, the patient has taken, let's say Roger, the name is Roger. Roger has taken 1500 meals within that time period. All right, good. The same thing will be done for the output as well. So whatever it is you have at the output here, you put it here, you add whatever it is here to whatever you have there. It just follows the same thing. Whatever you get at the last end, let's assume for this one, the last thing was say 2,000. You know, base, I'm just assuming it's 2,000. That means that for the output for Roger, patient had lost 2,000 mils of whatever it of fluid. Okay, so that will be your total input and total output. Total input, total output. All right, good. Now let me quickly run through. Time is running. Okay, so what do I have here? What after you get this 1,500 and then this 2,000, after you get your total input and your total output, all you are going to do is that you are going to subtract the output from the input. Subtract the total output from the total input. So in this case, what if we are subtracting 2,000 from 1,500, what are we going to get? We are going to get minus 500 mils. Why am I saying minus? Because anytime your output is more than your input, you are going to get a negative balance, and vice versa. What I mean by that is, if my input is more than my output, I'm going to get a positive balance, and that is what you're going to put here. So here this says the total balance is going to be what? In this our case is going to be 2,000 minus 1,500. So the total balance is going to be what? Negative 500 mils. And then they are asking you, is it negative or positive? And obviously we know it is negative. Please write in full, negative. If it's positive, write positive in full. Don't write pos. Don't write what do you call it? Pos or neg. Write in full. And this sign, please, is in the marking criteria. Let the sign show. If it's negative, let the sign, write the sign. If it's positive, write the sign. Positive is plus. Okay? Good. Basically, that's just it. And then you are done. And then what does it say here? Print your name. So you will write your full name here and your signature here. Please don't forget. You've done a good work here, and you forget to write your name and your signature. Just write it and you are done. All right, time is fast spent. This is about 27 minutes video. I hope it's clear and you understand fluid balance now. Now, if you do understand, work this assignment for me. If the patient took water at 9:30 and the volume was 250 mils, where will you put it in this fluid balance? Okay, where will you put it? Which time will you put this 250 mils, which the patient took at 9:30? If the patient took tea at 12:45, 100 mils, which time will you put that 100 mils here? And lastly, if the patient took 210 mils of juice at 800, where will you put this on the fluid balance chart? I think for the normal saline, the IV side, I've worked it for you. But let me give a quick one. Assuming your finish time is 2100 and your start time is say 1200. All right, what will be the the hourly volume the patient is going to receive, and where will you put the first volume the patient receives? That is the only way I can ascertain if you understand. All right, good luck in your exam, and if you get fluid balance chart, make sure you smash it. Thank you all, and bye.